Welcome back. It's 12 noon. We are live on this Monday before Christmas. Today will be our last live show, and then we'll be back with you next Monday at this time as we'll get you ready for the Rose Bowl. As Alabama, big win against Oklahoma on Friday night, 34-24. Ty Simpson, 232 through the air, 2 touchdowns, 0 turnovers. Zabian Brown's 50-yard pick six, that was the difference maker that kind of turned the tide, so to speak, as the Tide tied at 17 all. And they were able to go on a run there in the second half, Conrad. Very impressive what Alabama's defense was able to do, sacking John Mateer 5 times.
Yeah, no doubt the adjustments that they made. And I mean, to be fair, that's maybe something that people have, and I think rightfully so at times been critical of with Alabama the last couple of years, is it feels like in certain games they're not able to make those adjustments and find ways to, come back into games. But they certainly did that. And I mean, anytime you go on the road in a hostile environment. We heard Nick Kelly tell us how great of an environment it was there by Oklahoma, but you go up against, statistically the best defense in the SEC, one of the 10 best defenses in the country on the road, and you go on a 34-7 run. That's really, really impressive. That was the most points Oklahoma's given up all year to any opponent, was 34. So very impressive for Alabama, made a lot of adjustments and looked like a completely different team the last, 35 to 40 minutes of that game than they did the first 20.
So Miami takes out Texas A&M 10-3 in a low-scoring defensive battle in College Station. The Rebels over Tulane 41-10 in Oregon. They outlasted James Madison 51-34. So the college football playoff schedule looks like this. On Wednesday, New Year's Eve, that's a 6:30 kickoff in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. It'll be Miami versus Ohio State. A little bit of news came out today, Conrad, as Ryan Day has made an announcement about who's calling the plays moving forward.
So Brian Hartline. Brian Hartline was the offensive coordinator. He is now replacing Alex Golesh at USF. So Ryan Day, he made a statement to the media this morning that he is going to take on the play calling responsibilities, but it does appear that Brian Hartline will still be on the coaching staff for the game against Miami, but he's going to work more so with the receivers. Ryan Day is going to take some off his plate because obviously he's also trying to do some business in South Florida as well.
All right, so Miami and Ohio State, that will be a Wednesday night game at 6:30. And then on Thursday morning, it starts at 11 a.m. Birmingham time, the Orange Bowl. It'll be Oregon versus Texas Tech. And then at 2 o'clock, the granddaddy of them all, Alabama and Indiana. That's a 2 o'clock kickoff from Pasadena, which will be a 12 noon kickoff time there on the West Coast. And then that night at 7 o'clock down in New Orleans, it will be the Sugar Bowl. It will be a matchup of Ole Miss versus Georgia, a very historic game there in the French Quarter. So if Bama were able to knock off Indiana, then they would get the winner of Oregon and Texas Tech.
Yeah, and you see why, again, not saying that anybody has necessarily the easy draw in the playoff, but I think when we talked about Alabama and they got put in the bracket, you looked at Oklahoma, okay, got to go on the road. It's a team that's had your number the last couple times you played, but you felt like that first matchup Alabama had outplayed them but lost. Well, they get that win. Now you got to get through Indiana, which is going to be very difficult, but I think a lot of people look – you're not going to have to face Ohio State or Georgia until a national championship game, potentially. We just saw Oregon. They're a team that I think a lot of people go, well, they looked good offensively against JMU, but they also allowed them to score 34 points, so maybe they're a little vulnerable. And then Texas Tech, I think we all really high on Texas Tech, but again, the level of competition they played this year, not quite up to what Indiana, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, some of those teams had to go up against. So they can go on a run here, certainly, and if you get past Indiana, I think that's where you have the conversation of, well, if they could beat that team, what's to say that this team can't go and win a national championship? But a long ways to go in order to win that game. Indiana right now fluctuating around a touchdown favorite over Alabama as it stands on December 22nd.
If you follow Alabama football, enough cannot be said about Jeff Allen, who is the outstanding medical director that does so much to help these players when they're injured and trying to get them back on the field.
I hope he got a game ball.
My goodness gracious. Josh Cuevas, if you looked at the film and you watched what Cuevas did, not only do you have some big catches in the game, but just overall physicality of what he does at the tight end position. He had a really good game the other night for Alabama, and that's something that they had missed the last couple of games because Cuevas was on the sideline.
Yeah, and same thing with getting Jam Miller back, and he's ready. We talked about Brailsford a lot and how banged up he's been, and he still looked Again, not 100%, but he gave you everything you needed from him. You mentioned Cuevas. Ty Simpson's been banged up. A lot of these guys, Jeremy Bernard, looked like he was closer to 100% than he's been in a while as well. So, yeah, hats off to the training staff. They did a great job with the time off between the Georgia game and this one, and now you've got another 10 days. So it just looks like this team could get even more healthy than they already are right now, and another 10 days could go a long way. And we'll see what happens with the likes of LT Overton, stuff like that. But yeah, Jeff Allen, great job getting this team ready for Norman on Friday.
Indiana is currently a 7-point favorite against Alabama. The over-under is 48. So we'll see how much that fluctuates. Also, Georgia is a 7-point favorite against Ole Miss in the Sugar Bowl. Oregon is a 1-point favorite against Texas Tech. And Ohio State is a 9-point favorite against Miami. That's the largest spread of the games upcoming in the college football playoff. A little bit of news this morning in the transfer portal. Byron Brown, the outstanding quarterback, the dual-threat quarterback for the South Florida Bulls, he has posted on his Instagram that he is leaving South Florida, so the speculation is already brewing. Could he end up on the plains of Auburn? Then the question is, okay, if you're going to pay Byron Brown to be your quarterback, what happens to Deuce Knight? Your 5-star all-world quarterback that came in and had quite a game before the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, it's an interesting dilemma because I think we all agree that the potential for Deuce is pretty sky high, right? He could be a very special player, but you also wonder for a guy like Golish, it would probably, let's be honest, it'd be easier to bring in a quarterback you're familiar with. He knows the offense. He can kind of help the other offensive players learn the system quicker. And you wonder, does it give you maybe I don't know if this is how you would want to look at it or how Auburn's looking at it, but does it give you maybe a higher floor for next year with Byron Brown because he is familiar with Alex Golish? But I think we all agree it's important for him to get off to a good start next year, and it would make sense, right? I mean, he had over 4,000 yards, over 40 touchdowns total this year. I mean, he had a really, really nice year, but a lot of people are going to have questions about can that translate to the SEC, and Deuce Knight is, the young hot name that everybody wants to see. So this is why Alex Golish is getting paid the big bucks, and we are just here talking about it. But a very interesting decision looming, it feels like, for Auburn, because maybe there's a world where you could get both of them to be on the roster and stick around, but I think it's more likely that you're either going all in on Deuce or all in on Byron Brown.
Let's go back to the phones. Beham Dog joins us here on Three Man Front.
Good morning. Well, afternoon, everybody. Pat, I sure hope you feel better than you sound, buddy.
Well, I feel better than I did this weekend, but yeah, my voice is still a little bit raspy. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I hope you get to feeling better, man. But hey, look, man, I initially picked Indiana to lose in the national championship game after they beat Ohio State, and I think I kind of overreacted. Maybe I'm crazy, but I think they're going to blow out Indiana. I don't know why I feel that way. But those are still a lot of leftover Nick Saban players, and there's been a lot of teams that line up from other conferences, and I mean no disrespect to any conference, but they're just built different. I mean, I remember Notre Dame looking across the field and some of the things that come out later on about that. They're just built different at Alabama, and they're built different in Georgia and along the SEC. I don't think this game's going to be close. Look, I hope Indiana wins, because I don't want to face Alabama again if by chance I actually don't even have Georgia playing in the national championship myself. But I wouldn't want to play Bama again.
Do you have Ole Miss beating Georgia, or do you have Georgia losing in
No, okay, I'm going to go out on a limb here. People have told me that limb's going to break, but I am really high on Miami. I think they're a lot like Bama. If they're clicking, they can beat anybody in the country. But if they're off and Carson Beck's off, they can throw up an egg, too. I think they're really a lot. Carson Beck's a lot like, or Ty Simpson's a lot like 2024 Carson Beck. Guy threw almost 4,000 yards, but didn't have a running game, terrible offensive line, and led the nation in drop passes, but yet still threw for 4,000 yards and led to Georgia basically and people don't want to give that guy credit, but he played really well considering what he had up against him. A lot like what Ty Simpson's doing right now. So I believe I have Miami winning it all.
Wow.
I really do. I have them beating Georgia.
Wow. Okay.
That's interesting. Well, Ham Dog, listen, we
But
always.
I have I'm sorry. Alabama rolls Indiana.
Well, Ham Dog, listen, I hope you and your family have a wonderful holiday. Hope to see you soon, maybe again at Social Taco, and call anytime.
Absolutely. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Thank you so much.
I want to sip some of that Kool-Aid.
Oh, you like that, huh? Big prediction against Indiana.
More confident than I am.
Oh, yeah.
Now, yeah.
When we come back, we'll try to go down to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and let you hear Kalen DeBoer's Rose Bowl press conference. That's next on Jocks. We're waiting Kalen DeBoer to come to the podium. It's the official Rose Bowl game press conference as he is in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Curt Cignetti, he will meet with the media in about 30 minutes from now. So this is like the official, I guess, back in the old days, back when there was not the college football playoff, they would actually fly everybody out there for a day, and have your little Rose Bowl. And they'll do that closer to the contest,
yes.
with the two coaches. But this is kind of a welcome to the game type of presser, and both coaches will have an opportunity to obviously talk a lot of praise about their opponent that is coming up. Kalen DeBoer knows the Indiana program as well as anybody.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about it. And it'll be interesting to hear because I know some people are going to be interested. You've got, Tim Keenan, some guys that got banged up on Friday that seem like they're going to be okay, but I know there's going to be a lot of interest in, the health of this team moving forward. But I think a lot of it is, like you said, it's going to be praising the opposition and just talking about the resiliency, at least for Alabama, of being able to come back against Oklahoma. But, Trey Wallace mentioned it, right? You're kind of hearing some of these players and maybe an attitude from Alabama that you haven't in quite some time. And we'll see if that pays dividends, on New Year's Day or not, if Indiana's just too big of an obstacle to overcome.
It will be interesting because this will be, when this game is played, it will be on the exact date of 100 years to the day in which Alabama played in its first Rose Bowl, and it was against the Washington Huskies. And it's ironic that the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide came from Washington, but it's 100th anniversary of Alabama winning the Rose Bowl and winning their first ever national championship.
And if Alabama were to win, it would be their 1,000th victory in the history of the football program, which would make them and Michigan the only two programs to ever reach 1,000 wins. So that would be a special way to get your 1,000th win.
Yep. So we are awaiting Kalen DeBoer momentarily to come to the podium and behind the microphone, and we will carry, and very typically, just like Nick Saban was, you can count on about a 15-minute presser. That's typically what happens with Kalen DeBoer, but they might be trying to hook up some other national media to this press conference. So he will speak at 12:15. He's already about 2 minutes late. And then Curt Cignetti, the head coach of the Indiana Hoosiers, will be at 12:45.
Do you think he gets asked any questions about a Michigan or other coaching vacancy?
I don't think so. I think that is officially dead.
I think so, too.
It's interesting that Biff Poggi, he did a press conference this morning for Michigan, and he said, basically, paraphrasing, but in a nutshell, the whole place needs to be fumigated and needs to be basically tore down and started over.
Well, I texted with you over the weekend, and I was just praying that just give us 1 year of Biff, right? Give them a year to kind of rebuild the program, get their ducks in a row, and make a great hire next year. I just want a year of sleeveless Biff Poggi roaming the Michigan sideline. That's what I want for Christmas.
Well, what's so interesting, he made those comments, but he was part of that. All
right,
right,
he's part of that.
Yeah, I mean, all right. I think we're getting close now. Kalen DeBoer is getting close to coming to the podium in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, as trying to get everything set up.
What's he wearing? Is he wearing the black hoodie?
No, he's wearing a red hoodie with an elephant on it. Yep.
Interesting.
So
you see, Oklahoma, they Brent Venables wore the black hoodie, trying to get a little bit of that mojo on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't quite work out for him.
Yep. So waiting for Kalen DeBoer to start. They're just moments away. So let's go now to Tuscaloosa.
Our team that excited to go play closer to home and even more from the West Coast. So that's one piece of it, but obviously the game itself and what it means and our opportunity to continue to take the next step. But we understand we got a great football team with Indiana coach Cignetti. Just what he's done is amazing here these last 2 years. Just building the program as quickly as he's done to the level it's at, and really looking forward to us diving back into our process here the next 10 days or so. Just getting back to work. Really important days. I thought we did a great job. From the SEC championship to the first round game in a lot of ways, whether it's the preparation. I got to give a tip of the hat to our training staff and our doctors, Jeff Allen, who runs our training room downstairs with his staff. An amazing job just putting people together and getting guys as healthy as they could have. Dr. Kane, Dr. Waldrop, Dr. Stewart. We just got a top tier group, and I know there's even more, but just everything they did to get our guys to where they played fast and we're as healthy as we've been in a long time. So need that again here the next 10 days. On the speed part, I mean, our guys, Coach Ballou, I need to give him credit to, our head strength coach. We had as many guys hit their top speeds as we have since the Tennessee game, and that's tied for the most over 20 miles an hour. All year. So it's great to have more players playing fast in the big moments, but looking forward to the challenge. Our guys are as well.
Thank you, Coach. We'll now open up the teleconference for questions. Please raise your hand to ask a question using the raise hand icon within Zoom. If and when your question is selected, please unmute your microphone and state your name and media outlet before asking your question. Once your question has been answered, your microphone will be muted and your hand will be lowered. Our first question comes from Nicole Auerbach.
Hey, Kalen, it's Nicole Auerbach from NBC Sports. I wanted to ask, just with you and Curt Cignetti in this matchup, got me thinking about just the unique paths that you both took to become head coaches at places like Alabama and Indiana. And I wonder how your path and all the different stops and all the levels of college football helped prepare you to lead a program at the highest level with all that's changing in college football today.
Yeah, just knowing Coach Cignetti and you referred to it, his path, nothing but respect. Again, how he's done it, how he's gotten to this spot. A lot of work goes into it. I think coming back to your question, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I think there's things that you do that give you an appreciation for the moment you're in, having an opportunity to be here at Alabama. But I also think there's moments that you go through. I mean, with the playoffs the way they are, and us having to go 4 rounds, been through that many, many years, whether it was as an assistant or as a head coach, going back to Sioux Falls days. And then I think building a staff and, having the network and the contacts has helped me surround people with a lot of knowledge, but also the right type of people to help lead you, especially in today's day and age of college football and building a team. And I think all of it goes into just being built for these moments that come. But I've been really blessed. I've been blessed to be around a lot of great coaches who have mentored me along the way, that I've taken things from to be able to be successful in the moments that we're in now.
Our next question will come from Jeff Rabjohns.
Hey, Coach. How you doing? Jeff Rabjohns, Peace.com here. Good to see you. Good to talk to you. As far as the game goes, Indiana's rushing attack has been really productive, even though, Mendoza won the Heisman, has been the kind of guy getting more attention. I'd like your thoughts from a coaching chair. What makes Indiana's running game good, and how good do you feel Indiana's offensive line has been and is playing going into this game?
Yeah, still diving into it, but a thing that jumps out at me, just with kind of the first glance here the last day or so, is how well they work together, the offensive line in particular, and just everyone being in sync. They're always moving forward, and on the opposite end, the defense, has the tackles for losses and is physical as well. So, but I just think that with obviously Mendoza and winning the Heisman, I mean, that doesn't happen by accident. You put a whole season of film together, of games and stringing them each and every week, and you end up undefeated because a trigger man can make some plays and do his thing at extremely high level. I just look at their skill around the offensive line. They just all complement each other. They go make plays. When the opportunities are there, they get it done. And there's great coaching that you can see to put them in spots to succeed. But also the guys, you can see they play with a swagger, with a confidence, and as they should with the success they've had.
Our next question comes from Nick Hamilton.
Hey, Coach. First of all, congratulations on making the Rose Bowl. Also want to ask you, just how have you seen your defense grow exponentially since playing in the SEC, and now you guys are in the CFP, gaining a victory at Oklahoma, and now you're playing in the Rose Bowl. What are some of the traits that you've seen along the way that giving your team even more confidence?
Well, I think there was a point, it was early in the season where our guys defensively just kind of kept taking those steps, and through conference play, got the turnovers in big moments that helped us win games. The stops that were needed, forcing field goals, and I think that continued to breed a kind of a belief at a high level, and they've been able to do it different ways. And the first quarter maybe wasn't our best quarter, but they were fighting and coming off the field, ready to solve problems, to come up with solutions, whether that's the coaching staff or our players. I know that our whole team is going to fight, but you're asking about the defense in particular. I know that they went out there They're very, proud of what they've accomplished, and really did a nice job as the game went along of making adjustments to get more pressure on the quarterback, to obviously come up with an interception for a touchdown. Just continue to play, and the game came back to us. We talk about that as a program, but the game came back to us because everyone just continued to stay the course and forced them, even when they got into our territory, to force field goals. And that's a mindset, that no matter where you step on the football field, you're just going to play it to the best of your ability, and our guys do that.
Our next question comes from Zachary Osterman.
Hi, Kalen. Thanks for making the time. Hope all's well your way. I imagine you haven't sort of deep dived into Indiana just the last few years, but I'm curious. You were around here at a time when this program was really emphasizing investment in football and really sort of trying to be bold about sort of dreaming bigger and pushing the boat out farther. As you've sort of, in what you have been able to see of Coach Cignetti, do you see more of that basically kind of the impact of a place really investing in a way that says we want to be more competitive in football and we're going to be really proactive about it?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, I do pay attention just because it's a place I've been, and pay a little more attention. I can't say, you're worried about your own place and where you're at, but I felt like when we were there that there was a growth and an investment that was happening, and there was success that in 19 when I was there that felt like you were getting over the hump, and that extended to the next season as well. But there's certainly, I mean, Coach Cignetti's done a great job providing the spark, which really it leads to people continue to be all in, and as you get more people all in, you get the moments that you're in right now. And so I think it works off of each other, the energy and the commitment to the success, working hand in hand with the people that are there. So, nothing but a great time there that I had. It was short-lived, but one that I remember my family as well.
Our next question comes from Kennington Smith.
Hey, Coach DeBoer, hope you're doing well. I actually have two questions, if I may. The first is about Bray Hubbard. Obviously, his play against Florida State garnered negative attention, and we get to the end of the season, he's an All-American. How have you seen him just progress throughout the season, and maybe what type of lesson is there, how he started and kind of how he's finished up the season?
No, yeah, Bray, he is who he is. I know he was super disappointed, as well as many guys were, with week one, with the production. I would never really question how important it is to him. It means so much to play at a high level, but even more to do it with his teammates. He's a team guy, and he's just continued to lead us. It doesn't matter if it's on the field, off the field. He's a top tier person, first of all. And, I think the work ethic he brings is something that trickles on to the rest of the guys. And, he takes it upon himself to make sure that, yes, the unit that's on the field, the ones, the twos, that they're playing at a high level, held to the standard, but he also cares about it trickling down to the players who are going to be the future here too. And he's an extremely hard player. He's a playmaker in the big moments. You've seen him end up with the ball in his hands, interceptions, at critical times. And he's going to come down in the box. He can play out in space. Just does a lot of things for us that are really important to our success defensively.
Yeah, and then Zabian Brown, you kind of mentioned big plays. That's kind of been his story since he's been at Alabama. What has allowed him to meet those moments? And then, also just kind of what type of opportunity is it for him and, other guys who are from California to get a chance to go back there and play in the Rose Bowl?
Yeah, ZB he's been, you can call it the right place, but I think you make your own breaks too. And, there's times where, you happen to be in the right spot, but there's also times where you just, you put the work in, and I see what he does with his film study. I see what he does on the football field in practice, whether it's technically, just how important it is for him to be on the same page with the guys around him so he can take those, I don't want to call them, they're calculated risks, or, have an aggressiveness about him to go make the plays, knowing where his help's at pre-snap, while the play's happening. He's a really heady player, and obviously a great athlete and playmaker. And so I think for him, as well as all these guys going out to California, it's just a really cool moment for them. They're just such great kids. They're not kids, but young men, whose families have to travel a long ways each and every week. And this time they get to return the favor back to their families and go out there and play in front of them, and as well as many friends that I'm sure will be at the game.
We have time for one more question. Our last question will come from Mike Schumann.
Yeah, hey coach, Mike Schumann of the Daily Hoosier. Wanted to ask you about Kane. He was obviously there at Indiana with you, and I'm just curious, like, what was it about him? I'm assuming his time at Indiana played a heavy influence on you want him to bring him on board at Alabama. What stood out? Is there anything about his time at Indiana that really stands out to you? And I guess also just like what's it like for all you guys? I know there's a lot of IU guys, former IU guys on staff to come full circle and play this game against Indiana.
Yeah, I'd probably be missing some Baloo, Coach Sheridan. But your reference to Kane, here's what I saw when I was there. First of all, a guy that really wanted me to come, be a part of it. And then when I was there, did everything he could to be a team player. He was focused on running a defense. I was the offense coordinator, but practice plans, schedules, whatever it was, he would be willing to work with you to help make sure it was best for our team and not just his side of the ball. And then there obviously has to be a production and a style of coaching that you feel fits, and whether it's what he does as a defensive coordinator, or especially down here now with his home being, for the most part, being down here in the Southeast, what he could bring as far as the familiarity to the league, the region. It was a great fit, a great opportunity. And, for him to jump on board and be a part of this, you can see what he's done with our defense. He's a great coach, great person, great family man. Our players really believe in him. Our staff does too, as he manages them. So it's been really, really a great, great opportunity. And I'm glad that he was a big part of me coming there, trying to get me to Indiana. I'm glad he returned the favor and came when I called him as well.
That is Coach Kalen DeBoer, the Rose Bowl press conference. So we'll try to listen in to a couple of minutes of Curt Cignetti. He is supposed to meet with the media in about 15 minutes from now. But Kalen DeBoer, nothing earth-shattering in regards to what he had to say with the media, as Alabama's obviously taken a few days off because of the Christmas holidays, trying to get some guys healthy, trying to get ready for the January 1st game there in Pasadena, California. More three-man front on this Reaction Monday on Jocks. Well, we just heard Kalen DeBoer just a few moments ago. Said he was excited about the opportunity to be in the Rose Bowl. It's a very special event. He highlights there are 15 players currently on the Alabama roster from the state of California. He also gave a tip of his cap to the Alabama training staff and the medical team for getting players ready for the Oklahoma game on Friday night. He says they're looking forward to the challenge in Pasadena. Our guys are as well. DeBoer says he wouldn't trade his coaching journey for the world for how he ended up at Alabama, and that is in reference to the fact that he used to be an assistant coach, the offensive play caller there at the Indiana Hoosiers before he went out west. So we'll hopefully listen to Curt Cignetti coming up in just a couple minutes, but let's get back to the phones at 1-800-239-WJOX. Let's go to Derry, who joins us on the program. Hey, Derry.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing, man?
We're doing good, man. How are you?
Well.
Awesome. Quick comment. Not surprised that we beat Oklahoma. That was my expectation. Of course, them jumping out to the lead early on, 17-0. But a lot of people don't think about this is that Alabama limped into the playoffs the last few games of the season. A lot of people don't even pay attention to that. But there's this thing, and I don't know if you've ever heard about this, but it's a 4-minute. It's a 4-minute game, right? You see it in basketball. You see it also in football. Even the pros are starting to do it. But for 4 minutes, right, you give that all-out, hair-on-fire gameplay. Well, Alabama does that, and if Alabama continues to do that in 4 games, all I can say is the rest of the CFP needs to be on notice because this is a 4-game stretch, and I don't see anybody beating Alabama all the way into the playoffs, and I think Alabama pulls it out. Miami wins. Texas Tech, more than likely, a couple of 2 or 3 explosive plays, and they take down Oregon. Georgia's in it. And I do have an estimation or a guesstimation, rather, that it'll actually be Alabama and Georgia again in the CFP.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that would be interesting.
Good stuff.
All right, so you're feeling confident about a national championship for Alabama?
Oh, yeah. This is that 4-game swing, man, and I think our guys' hair on fire. We're actually back healthy. I got a couple of dings and all that kind of stuff in this game, but we're actually back healthy. And it wasn't surprising to me that even some of the no-name players, or I'm going to call them no-names, that names that you don't get called a lot, and they end up being the key to the game, along with like Jeremy and Horton and all. And, of course, Ty Simpson was just playing. He was dialed in, and what I call he got in the zone. And once he got in, that was it. The guy you just couldn't shake him. So it's going to be an interesting turn of events. Obviously Indiana's number 1, but with so goes number 1, so goes your season. So I think this may be their championship game, which is the Rose Bowl, and that's it for them. So Curt Cignetti is a great coach. Hats off to him, but I don't think the matchup favors Indiana at all in this matchup against Alabama.
Derry, we appreciate the phone call.
Thank you,
Hope
Derry.
you have a Merry Christmas. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Derry. Appreciate that.
Very
All right.
positive phone call.
I was about to say the last 2 callers we've had are thinking Alabama's going to beat Indiana, but also picking Miami to beat Ohio State in there as well. That'd be interesting.
Very interesting. Curt Cignetti will be speaking with the media coming up in just a couple of minutes. We hope to be able to carry some of those comments. You're listening to 3-Man Front on this Reaction Monday on Jocks. Indiana currently a 7-point favorite over the Alabama Crimson Tide. Over under sits at 48 as Indiana and Alabama. This is the first ever meeting between these two teams.
Crazy to think.
Yeah.
Just go back 2 or 3 years and tell an Indiana fan they'd be playing Alabama in the Rose Bowl in the college football playoff. I don't think they would believe it.
Be pretty excited about that.
Yes.
There is no doubt.
Oh, and by the way, you're the number 1 seed.
Yeah, it's not Alabama. It's Indiana.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if Alabama can have a better Rose Bowl experience than the last time they were there.
Yeah. It was a good game at least, but
all right.
Yeah.
Curt Cignetti, he is now speaking with the media. Rose Bowl press conference.
Quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential against the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yeah, 2 days into our prep, obviously need to have a great 2 weeks of preparation, against a great Alabama football team. And, team's excited about it, but, focused on the process. Got a lot of respect for Alabama. Coach DeBoer, been following his career for a long time. He kind of started out at a lower level like I did. And ever since he went to Washington, I've really kind of studied his offense and think he's a great coach.
Thank you, Coach. We'll now open up the floor for questions. Please raise your hand to ask a question using the raise hand icon within Zoom. If and when your question is selected, please unmute your microphone and state your name and media outlet before asking your question. Once your question has been answered, your microphone will be muted and your hand will be lowered. Our first question comes from Jeff Rabjohns.
Good afternoon, Coach. Appreciate your time. Working on a story about your receiving core, particularly Surratt and Cooper, and just what has made them elite receivers. Just like to get your thoughts from the head coach's chair. Why are they so good? And what is the best trait for each one of them, if it's similar or different?
Yeah, well, Surratt and Cooper have both been starters for 2 years. Now, when you look at the core, you got to include E.J. Williams and Charlie Becker in that group as well, who have made a lot of big plays for us this season. Becker, particularly, the last 4 games. But Surratt is a guy that just loves football. He's a football guy. He's got great hands. He's really good at contested catches. He's an extremely intelligent football player. He's got good size. And he made a lot of big plays for us. Started out at the Division I AA or FCS level, and then joined us at JMU, and then came with us to Indiana. Omar Cooper is from Indianapolis, was on the team in 23 and played a role in 23, the year before I came, and made big plays for us in 24 and has elevated his game in 25. And he's an explosive guy. He's really good after the catch, and just has a lot of potential and ability, and has become more consistent. Still has more steps in consistency he can take, but I've seen him really progress and evolve.
Thanks, Coach.
Our next question comes from Mike Niziolek.
Yeah, Curt, I think on your last Zoom with us, you mentioned getting through all the retention discussions kind of the week before you guys jumped into prep. How important was it to kind of get through all of those the way the calendar is structured right now? And did that give you kind of a clear picture and what you need to know kind of as things open up again right after this game's done too?
Yeah, it's critical, and it certainly did clear the picture up quite a bit, because the emphasis before we knew who the opponent would be was on the 27 team and retention and needs. And we got a few practices in as well to stay sharp, and got refreshed and got in the weight room. But we're probably 95% through, what I would call the key guys, sort of the guys everybody knows. And so we're almost home, in that front.
Our next question comes from Max Cohen.
Hey, Coach, you spent several seasons in Tuscaloosa before becoming a head coach. I'm wondering what your memories are of your time with Alabama and what the program means to you.
Yeah, we had a great experience at Alabama. It was a real important part of my journey. Learned a lot from Coach Saban in terms of organization, standards, stock and complacency. I wouldn't be where I am today without my time under Nick. My family really enjoyed Tuscaloosa. We had great years there. Of course, we took over a team. We were 7-6 our first year, and 12-0 the next year in regular season. Fell short in the SEC game to Tebow and Florida and Urban, and then had a rematch the next year and beat them, and won national championship out at the Rose Bowl. So we had 4 really good years there, and then began another part of our life.
Our next question comes from Jordan Mendoza.
Hey, Coach, Jordan Mendoza with USA Today Sports. I know last season there was a lot of talk about the layoff for the teams that get the first round bye. I'm curious for you, have you enjoyed kind of just having that kind of more time to kind of prepare and get the team healthy, or would you have preferred to maybe get this game played a little sooner than when you guys play the Big Ten title game?
Well, it is what it is, so you make the most of it. And the way we approached it until we knew the opponent, we treated it like 2 bye weeks. And now we have almost 2 weeks to prepare for the opponent. So would I prefer to play earlier? Yeah, I probably would, to be quite honest with you. But that's not the case. So we're excited about playing. We're off to a good start, and it'd be a tremendous challenge.
Our next question comes from Zach Osterman. Okay, I think Zach's question's down. Our next question will come from Zach Browning.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, last time you talked to us, you brought up the fact that Stephen Daly out for likely the rest of the season. What does the process look like for trying to find the next avenue to replace that production, and kind of what does that process look like over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, well, Brian Haynes does a great job coordinating our defense. We have a lot of confidence in our players, and we'll find the best solution, and that gives us the best chance to be successful.
Now going back to Zachary Osterman with a question.
Sorry about that, Curt. I think I didn't get to the mute button, the unmute button quite as quick as I needed to. That's my bad. I wanted to circle back to your time at Alabama, and I'm sure we've asked you about this in some shape or form, but that was your last stop, obviously, before you started your career as a head coach. And I'm just curious, whether it's since you knew Alabama was your opponent or just at various different times, have you reflected on the pieces of kind of what you call the blueprint that you might have taken from your time at Alabama, whether it's the way you build a roster, whether it's the way you sort of maintain a staff, a locker room? Are there things that are kind of in that blueprint for you that you can say that was something that really formed in my mind when I was at Alabama?
I probably think about it every single day, to be quite honest with you, because it had such an impact in my growth and development. And I think philosophically, the program that we run here is probably a lot more the same than different than Alabama. So there's probably not a day that goes by where I don't draw from those experiences.
Our next question comes from Jim Coyle.
Curt, obviously you probably at least watched some of Alabama in the Oklahoma game. What was it about their team that you saw that you took away? Obviously, probably didn't pay any attention to them during the regular season. Now, obviously, a big reason for that. What about their team has caught your attention and something you have to plan for most of all, you think?
Well, I actually did get to watch some of them early in the year because we had a couple bye weeks, and I'm a film junkie, and I've always enjoyed studying Coach DeBoer's offenses from the time he was at Washington. So, I got to watch their first Georgia game and some of their other things. They do a lot of really great stuff. In terms of the Oklahoma game, that was a tremendous comeback on the road in a hostile environment to come back from 17 points down and come out with a win. And I think it tells you a lot about the character of their football team. They got a lot of great players. They're extremely well coached. And so, they're a really good team. It'll be a tremendous challenge.
That is Curt Cignetti, the head football coach of the Indiana Hoosiers, bestowing a lot of praise on the former school that he was an assistant coach under Nick Saban. As you heard multiple times, he mentioned, Conrad, the fact that a day does not go by that he does not think about his time at the University of Alabama.
No, and I like kind of one of his answers. It was, he was talking about how, back in 2008, you lose the SEC title game to Urban Meyer in Florida. You come back the next year, win in the Rose Bowl, where they're going to be playing again in 10 days. And just him, it was a great 4 years. And then we moved on. It's like very matter of fact about it. But no, it's cool to hear him talk about his days there at Alabama, and certainly one of the best coaches in college football right now. It should be a great matchup between him and Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah, I said he studies Kalen DeBoer's offenses over the last couple of years. So he's been very impressed by this Alabama team, especially overcoming a 17-0 deficit in the college football playoff on the road in a hostile environment there in Norman, Oklahoma. We've got one more hour to go. We've got plenty of text and your calls to get to on this Reaction Monday. Molly, Conrad, I'm Pat with you until 2 o'clock. Landry Beck with us on next Monday. This is our final live show of the week before we all disperse for the Christmas holidays. But we appreciate you making us part of your Monday. Keep it tuned right here to Jocks and Three Man Front.